Hi everyone, welcome to my Panda palette update number 2 for the Natasha Denona Star palette. So originally when I started, as some of you know, I had planned to pan this entirely in 2 years. Now having used it for almost every day for about 2 to 3 months now, guys, this is taking forever. I try to use as many shadows as possible, as many times as possible, but it's taking a lot. It's taking a lot to make any dent, and I'm still gonna go with this challenge, but I really think it might take 3 years, just to be realistic, you know, because I do want to rotate some of my other palettes as well, because I do have a big palette collection. I don't want the other palettes to go to waste. So anyway, so here is my update. So as you can see, I did hit pan, which is hooray. I did hit pan, but I used that color about 35, so I have a tracker here, about 35 times before I hit pan. So, and that was every single day. And I certainly can't use all of these colors every single day, every time I do a makeup look. So yeah, these are very, very deep. I mean, if it's one of the only palettes you have, this is such a good deal because it'll take you forever to use this up. But anyway, I really do love this color. So now that I've hit pan on it, I will still continue to use it. So my plan is to finish the shade first. But there are two close shades that I was also working on before. This champagne shade and this peacock shade. And I have some good dips in them as well. So I am pretty happy with my progress. I just feel like it's much slower than normal. And when I tilt it this way, you can see some of the dips. So I'm happy with that. It's just... it's just taking much longer than I expected because I've really truly been using this quite a lot for every makeup look. I'm essentially at least using one shadow there. Okay, so for some companion shadows, because I'm panning this one, I kind of started to slowly figure out my cadence with the other palette, so I'm actually pretty happy. I'm seeing a lot of progress in my other palettes, which makes me really happy because I'm not just focused on one. So that palette doesn't have a nice highlight shade, so I've chosen this highlight shade. It's just a single out of my singles collection. I don't even know the name of it anymore. So it's just a single, and as you can see, there's already a dip in it. And I definitely want to use this and hit pan and use it up throughout this challenge, so to keep it interesting. And then ta-da! I think this was finished in the last update, but I'm not 100% sure. What you see here is just kind of the pan, the pan showing, but it looks like it's still kind of around the edge, but it's not. It's fully clear. So this was my highlighting shade before that I was using. So now I'm using the other one. And this is very close to being finished. This is my crease shade. As soon as this is done, I'm chucking this. This is like, I don't even know, 9 years old. So I really shouldn't be using this, but just for kind of the purpose of a challenge, I just want to finish this every crumb of the shade before I throw it out. But yeah, this is from Urban Decay, one of their Pulp Fiction limited edition palettes. So that's my crease shade. After I finish this, I'll be using a shade in the Natasha palette to continue with a crease shade. This palette actually has a nice variety of crease shades if you happen to own this. So this is a cool tone crease shade, and then this is a slightly warm tone crease shade. There's a pink shade, pinky peach shade, more pinky, that you can kind of use as a transition shade, and then there's a very warm brown shade as well. So it's a nice selection of crease shades in here, which I'll enjoy using as well, probably with every look. Okay, so the next companion palette is the TooFaced Just Peachy Mattes. So this one, I mixed these two colors as not a highlighting shade because it's kind of old, and also it's kind of dusty now, but it still serves its purpose. It's like powdery. What I use this for is to set my primer and also to transition between the highlighting shade and the transition shade, if that makes sense. So you have like a really shiny color here, and then you have the mid-tone color. So I tend to use this to blend out the edge in between so that it's a nice fade. So I'm almost using it like a translucent powder, if you will. And I find it really helps with blending out my eyeshadow colors. So I do enjoy this. A mixture of these two shades is what I'm doing. And there's kind of a faint scratch mark on the pans. Yeah, you can see there's tiny dips there. But once again, I will be using that till I'm done. So it's another companion palette. Last eyeshadow palette that we'll discuss is this beauty. So this is the Subversive Pat McGrath 3 palette. As you can see, it's very well loved and I absolutely adore it. So I keep all of these palettes that I mentioned on my vanity. It's pretty hilarious because when I do an eyeshadow look, I tend to have all of them open, so it looks so extra, but I can't help it. I love everything in these palettes. And ta-da! I hit pan here, which I'm so excited about. And Pat McGrath also has very deep pans, so it was a lot of work to hit pan there, but you know, 2 pans on my second update, that's not too bad. I'm pretty happy with that. And I love, well, all of these shades really, but as I hit pan on them, I can discuss them more. I do find that the mattes in Pat McGrath palette is better than Natasha. I feel like Pat McGrath is better in general than Natasha, but it's chunkier and more glittery. So sometimes you may not want to do that look, you know, that may not be something you're into. So they both have their purpose in my collection, and I love, well, really all my palettes. So that's kind of my palettes rundown for eyeshadows. And here, let me give you some terrible news. So I broke this, and I can't really blame anyone else but myself. I dropped this blush palette, which I had been planning to pan from Kevin Aucoin. So, oh my gosh, I nearly cried. I was so sad. Yeah, so I dropped this palette and it's ruined. I can repress it, and I will. Maybe even make it into a loose kind of bronzy blush. I'm not sure, but it is so messy. Every time I touch it, chunks just fall off. And I'm really terribly sad about it. I'm really sad about it. So I can't use this as part of the challenge anymore because it'll just be too hard to use every day. Like, I open it and there's messes everywhere. So I still haven't decided what to do with it, but I'm kind of withdrawing it from the challenge, which I'm so sad about because I actually had worked like through the imprint. So I had kind of taken off the imprint through usage, and I was super excited to show you guys, and then this catastrophe happened. So to replace that, I'm going to take out this limited edition goodie. It's the Becca Endless Bronze and Glow little cheek palette. So as you can see, there's a bronzer, a peachy blush, and a highlighter. These are actually really beautiful. And just perfect colors, like a perfect highlight, a perfect blush, and a perfect bronzer all in one. Or you can use it all together, I guess, as a bronzy blush once again. But I will be focusing on this going forward as kind of a pan that palette, face palette as well. So this is kind of the starting point of the product. And I hope to finish, well, I do want to finish this to the last drop because as we all know, Becca has been discontinued. So there's no point hanging on to limited edition items. Especially if they, you know, bring me joy right now. So that's it for the update. Hope you guys are doing well with your projects too. And please comment down below if you're doing such a challenge. I would love to follow your progress as well. And I'll see you next month. Bye.